Welcome to a new episode of the CAP Podcast, Consumer Ammunition Tactics Podcast. I got a special guest today. Her name is Lashanta. And basically, EPA Financial was created by two sisters, Lashanta and is it Latisha? Letitia. Hey,
Yes,
Witherspoon. Oh, we're going to keep recording. After
that's right.
launching their flagship company, LLG Transportation Consultants, they knew something was missing: financial resources for small businesses. With 13 plus years of experience working in the financial industry, they knew this was a combination the trucking industry, as well as other industries, needed, not only to start their company, but to successfully expand their businesses by building and capitalizing on business credit. So
Mhm.
they believe equipping entrepreneurs to succeed by educating them on tax saving solutions, how to build business credit, and how to utilize working capital so businesses can thrive in any economy. Welcome to the podcast, Lashanta. How are you feeling?
I am feeling great, Michael. Thank you so much for having me. I definitely appreciate this.
No problem, no problem, no problem. My bad for butchering your sister's name. Where's your sister at?
She's not here, so I primarily run the company. She's just a part of it for the most part. So, honey, you ain't gonna hear too much business credit out of her, okay?
Okay.
She's our trucking guru. Now, you ready for a trucking interview? Like that is your girl. So,
Okay.
um, I'm more so on the financial side, and she's the trucking, in the logistics side. So,
Okay,
yeah.
definitely, definitely. So can you tell us about, you just tell us maybe how you grew up, tell us, how you got into credit, things like that.
Absolutely. So we grew up in a very, very small town in Alabama. So
Okay.
the city that I'm actually from, well, the county, because it's not a city, that I'm actually from is called Alberta, Alabama. So that is very close to, like, people may be familiar with like Selma, Alabama.
Okay.
So things of that nature, right? So that's where we grew up. And I came basically to Dallas in 2017. So grew up in Alabama, went to college, obviously. I got my MBA. So I got my undergrad, obviously, in finance. And then I got my MBA from the University of North Alabama. So after that, I was like, I'm done with Alabama. I am moving to Dallas, right? So I moved here to Dallas for job opportunities and all that great stuff. So I went into nonprofit for about 4 years as a senior accountant. And I was pretty much done with that. Okay. I
Yeah.
was done with that. And so I decided to become a full-time entrepreneur. So I became a full-time entrepreneur in July of 2000 and what year are we in? 2022. So 2021. So
Okay.
it's been a little bit over a year, almost a year and a half that I've been a full-time entrepreneur. So the ironic part of all of this, as far as with EPA Financials, it was a different name initially. And this
Mhm.
business was supposed to be bookkeeping and accounting.
Uh,
And so, yeah, so I just thought, I was like, you know what? No, when I say paid for classes and everything, right? But I was like, that's not my thing. I'm not feeling this, you
yeah.
know? And so as I got more into business credit and things of that nature, being coming from Alabama, I used to be a loan officer for about 6 or 7 years.
Mhm.
So financial services was my thing.
Mhm.
So I was like, you know what? I'm kind of going to transition this thing. And I decided to go full term into business credit, teaching people all about business credit and business funding and just financial literacy in general. And it has been a beautiful thing ever since. So very passionate about just teaching in general, just financial literacy and how important it is, especially for our small businesses in our community.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. So did you grow up like being educated about credit? Because a lot of times in the Black community, it's not a thing growing up.
Right.
Yeah. So where did that
No,
start?
no, it's, you know what? I just think I'm like a black sheep. Like this.
Yeah.
Because, like, well, I don't know if you've been like that, but I have always been a person, no matter if going to college and all these great things, I knew ultimately, like, I was going to lead into entrepreneurship. I didn't know how and I didn't know when,
Mhm.
but we did not grow up around business credit or credit just in general. But I've always had that mindset of I need to make sure my personal credit is good.
Mhm.
Even in college, I had like one credit card. So I
Mhm.
was not getting into credit card debt. I just knew like I can't, this don't even sound good, right? And being from the country, a lot of people wouldn't know that. But it
Mhm.
was just something I feel that was already instilled in me, right?
Mhm.
And that I just knew early on I did not want to go into any sort of major debt and
Mhm.
things of that nature. So my father knew nothing about personal credit or business credit. My dad honestly is just learning about business credit. like now, right? My mom still have no idea what I'm even talking about half of the time when I'm explaining it to her. So I guess just to answer the question, no, it was just something that I just grew to love, I guess. And I already knew early on how important personal credit was. And ultimately, I knew it would be the same situation when it comes down to business credit. So,
Okay,
yeah.
dope. So was it like any environment you were in? Was it just because you started doing a financial? I'm trying to figure out like where it
Yeah,
started, you know?
well, I mean, honestly, like I said, just okay, I already knew, obviously, in college, I was doing financials, right? So
Yeah.
I was in finance and things of that nature. And I
Yeah.
can't even tell you in school because initially my background was going to be in like computer science. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
nah, that's definitely not the thing. And so I was like, I knew I wasn't good in accounting. Like, how in the world you transition from a loan officer to an accountant, it's above me,
Yeah.
right? But I knew I wanted to learn more, I guess. I knew I wanted to know more about financial literacy, and not growing up around it. I had to do something, right? And so I feel like it was just really led to me to go into the field of financial, especially in college. So just seeing it, I didn't learn a lot, honestly, in college when it came down to understanding, how to budget,
Yeah.
understanding what credit is, all of these great things. I
Mhm.
really think just outside of that, just, going through the process of life and just deciding to do my own research, just start doing a lot of research myself, start reading a lot of books, start going, like YouTube, different things like that, just understanding the possibilities of credit, right? And how important it is, and being able to just teach that to others. So I've always been like a good budgeter. So
Gotcha.
even when I was little, I never spent all my money. So my dad give us money all the time. I never spent all my money. I always was a saver. I always just understood the value of, okay, I need to keep $1. And
Yeah.
I think that's just growing up when when you come from a poverty environment. I'm
Mhm.
like, I don't have much. Okay. So
Yeah.
if my dad provides this to me, I have to be able to hold on to that.
Definitely.
Right. So I just always had that type of budget mindset, like a very mature, responsible think about myself even since I was like 9 years old. So that's why I said I can't really tell you. I think it was just something that was just gifted to me
We're
because
gonna
my
we're gonna say it was
told,
God.
totally,
We're gonna say God
yeah,
did
it
it.
definitely was God because
Yeah.
you can ask my dad. He know me. Like, who's gonna keep $1 is me. All right, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna be broke.
Yeah, I feel
Even to this
it.
day, I keep that same mentality.
Okay, I feel it.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. No, I think that's definitely dope. So I know most people like they're just like, okay, I know about credit. Credit is important and all that, but they don't really know the importance of like personal credit. And I
Yes.
would say even more to the extent of business credit is even more one of those topics where it's just like people might not know about it. People might not know about the importance of it. Can you
Right.
just elaborate on maybe just the importance of business credit? Like just letting the list, let's say I'm a listener. I know, okay, personal credit is cool. I hear people saying business credit, pay to X, this, that, and the third, but
Mhm.
like, why should I even care about business credit? You know?
Absolutely. So first off, business credit, like your business can handle way more debt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your business can handle way more debt than your personal credit can. So we know when we're dealing with personal credit, credit utilization is a major thing.
Yeah.
Same concept when it comes down to business credit, but it's not as detrimental as it is with personal credit. So you're able to have very large credit limits as far as the balances and things of that nature. The only matters when it comes to business credit is paying that debt, right? So if you spend 20,000, you need to be able to pay that 20,000 back in order for it to help with your credit history. All right. And just being able to separate your personal assets from your business assets, right? So your personal debt from your business debt.
Yeah.
Again, it just boils down to being able for your business to handle that type of debt. So large transactions, large credit limits and things of that nature when it comes down to business credit, right? And just in general, as far as with business credit, just the possibilities, the leverage that you're able to have when it comes down to business credit. So
Mm-hmm.
being able to, have things strictly in your business name and
Yeah.
not be associated with your personal credit at all. Right. That's a huge advantage. And also, obviously, taxes, right? So your tax write-offs, your deductions, different things of that nature is a major big part of having a business and having that business credit. because you can write off your courses, you can write off ebooks, you can write off training, your vehicles in your business name. If you have properties that is in your business name, all of these things boils down when it comes down to your deductions of your business, which is a beautiful thing, right? So you can literally write off almost your whole life when it comes down to business credit, right? And so you just have way more, I feel like, not obligations, but you have more leeway, I'll say. You have way more leeway when it comes down to business credit versus your personal credit. So I just like to keep those things separated. And it's just very important that when you build in the business credit, that we also don't neglect our personal credit, because when you're first getting started in, personal credit and business credit, then you still got to kind of, deal with your personal side as well, because the better your personal credit score is, the quicker basically you're able to get those high credit limits when it comes down to business credit. So a lot of people, I feel, neglect the fact of, your personal credit is definitely still important when you're first starting building. So I'll say in like 3 to 4 years or so, like as you're growing your business credit profile a little bit higher, then okay, we can kind of, eliminate altogether your personal and then just focus more so on the business.
Okay, definitely. And what you said too kind of brought me to my next thing I was going to ask you, because I know a lot of people are like, don't worry about your personal, just get the business. You can do non-PG, this, that, and the third. And some people are like, okay, let's use the personal to, do PG, because we can leverage our personal to get the business to the next level. So can you speak on that a little bit as far as, that topic?
Absolutely. So the ultimate goal is not to PG, right?
Yeah.
So your ultimate goal in business credit is to not PG. However, like I was saying, if you're wanting those major business credit cards, so when it comes down to your American Express, your Chase credit cards, your Capital One credit cards, Bank of America, things of that nature, then you have to PG on those cards, because these are major banks that we're dealing with. So they're not working too much with just your business right now. Like, to me, to them, it's like, I can't fully trust that yet until you're like, have that tenuredness in your business. So when it comes to major credit cards and stuff, yes, you will have to PG on those particular credit cards. However, when it comes to those business credit cards that are no PG, which means that will be strictly in your business name, right? And your social security number is not attached to that at all. So those are your debit credit cards, Hatch, Mercury, all about that, right? So when it comes down to those cards, you can strictly base it off of your business. However, like I still explain to people, they still some way somehow look at your personal side, right? So it's a soft pull in just verifying your identity, but they still are looking at your personal credit. So to me, a lot of people are like, well, what is a decent credit score? So if you have at least a 680 or above, that is considered a decent score, and you can pretty much get very much so as far as approvals. Way better if you have like a 650 or something like that. That's kind of pushing it sometimes when it comes to it. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to be fully denied, but I want people to build, right? So regardless if you're building a business credit or not, you need to have a solid personal credit profile, right? It needs to be structured. It needs to be, low credit utilization and things of that nature. So your personal credit definitely still matters when you're building business credit initially, but then at some point it's not even going to matter anymore, because your profile is going to be so solid that it's not even a factor.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I've been vocal about different personal credit cards that I like. I know you're in the business lane. This is actually one of my favorite business credit cards, the Amex or whatever. Can we get into some of your favorite business credit cards?
Yes. So that credit card, so the Amex Platinum is my favorite. The Amex Gold business card is my favorite as well. The Chase Unlimited cards, anything that's Chase related, they have really great credit cards as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like, okay, well, if I got well, you want to use your credit, your business credit cards because of the benefits, right? So those perks, those discounts, those cashback rewards, all of that great stuff. You can literally pay for a whole trip, just based off of your points on your credit cards. So I absolutely love my American Expresses. They are my top cards, right? But a lot of people have to also realize, Michael, as well, the importance of understanding what type of card you have. Is it a charge card? Can you carry a balance? Different things of that nature. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
right? And they just get to using all these cards, and honey, like it's a mess. So
Yeah.
you gotta pay it back. But I also don't sleep on my Capital on Tap. Absolutely love Capital on
Okay.
Tap. Credit card as well. So even though that one is a PG card, it's a soft pull on personal and business credit, right? But it's also one of my top cards as well when it comes down to business. So yeah.
Okay, definitely.